I'm sure most of you are aware of the reading crisis that we're having here in America, which is just absolutely disgusting and shameful and shocking. As far as I know some of it has to do with not teaching phonics anymore. They've changed how they teach how to read. But that's with the younger kids. Apparently, Gen Z just can't read at all. I'm not Were they not taught? Has this no phonics thing been going on longer than we're aware of? Let's go ahead. Let's find out. Let's see how bad it is. But really quickly, before I press play, if you're new to me, I'm Jennifer Cicero. Share my unpopular opinion on all sorts of things. You name it, I'm talking about it. Pop culture, politics, health, relationships. And if there's something you would like to see me cover, if you are not new to me, don't be afraid to reach out via email. That is always in the description below. But again, if you're interested in that, you want to hear what my unpopular take is, hit subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and let's dive in.
Younger generations are falling behind as reading declines. According to a survey last year, Gen Z read fewer books than any generation, and more than 1/3 of kindergarten through 12th grade students said they dislike reading.
Well, okay, let's pause right there. That doesn't have to do with Gen Z not being able to read. It's that they don't and they don't like it. Which I'm not surprised. We've let technology go way too far. We've let it infiltrate the home. We've let it infiltrate the schools. So everything's video now. I'm not surprised by this.
Pepperdine University professor told Fortune, quote, "It's not even an inability to critically think. It's an inability to read sentences. I feel like I'm tap dancing and having to read things aloud because there's no way that anyone read the night before."
Here with her take is Brooke Uten, co-founder of Enriched Literacy Education. Brooke, what is going on? This is terrible news.
It really starts in the earliest ages, and we're seeing studies of children as early as primary school age that are unable to perform basic skills because I believe they're not being read to, they're not being spoken to in the home. Their communication skills are so much lower than children of that age, even just 10, 20 years ago. One UK study reports 600 teachers were interviewed, and they said the children don't know their names, how to use the bathroom.
Wow. Don't know their names? That's scary. That's scary to me. This is our future generation. And I have heard reports of this, that part of it comes from they're not being read to or talked to at home because parents and the like are so busy on their phones. They're scrolling on their phones, they're playing games, they're texting, or they're playing video games or watching movies. I mean, most of it's the phones, though, that the kids aren't even being talked to. I mean, that's like the number one way that they learn is by imitation and by hearing the repetition over and over and over again. And that just breaks my heart, especially as a first time mom. I know how much joy and fulfillment I get out of talking to my son all day, every day, because I can look in his eyes and see him learning and being so curious and just soaking everything up. I can't imagine. It sounds like neglect to me. These kids are basically being ignored in their homes during some of the most formative years of their lives where they need that attention. It's just so sad to me. But let's see what else is going on.
The bathroom independently, how to brush their teeth, which is really terrible.
Wow.
Fast forward, we have Los Angeles Unified School District, second largest school district in the United States. We have parents there saying their children are on iPads all day. One mom reports her 6-year-old wet himself at the table 4 times. He's otherwise neurotypical, does not have an issue with toileting because he was on an iPad and lost track of time and was overstimulated. So if we're replacing human interaction and reading with iPads, people aren't.
Wow. breaks my heart. As a parent, you should be ashamed of yourself. So this is neglect. This is a major neglect issue right here. They don't know how to brush their teeth. They don't know their names. They're not going to the bathroom. They're late potty training. Who knows what else is going on with these kids? Why, why would you have a child in the first place if you don't want to be involved in creating this human and bringing this human to life and raising this child? Kids aren't like a set it and forget it. You set the timer and forget it, and then oop, all of a sudden they're 18 and they're grown and out of the house and they're doing great. I think a lot of parents these days expect schools to take care of everything, which is really sad if you know what's going on inside the school system. It's another topic for another time. But is everybody that distracted at home? That addicted to technology? That annoyed by this beautiful little precious human that they created? So it's got to be the distraction part, but also I can't help but bring up the fact that most households have both parents working full-time jobs, sometimes working multiple jobs. At, at least one parent should be at home with the kids. So I understand. I'm gonna point the finger at mom. Mom's exhausted, picks up the kids from daycare, picks up the kids from school, is busy answering emails on her phone, talking on the phone, texting, just needs her own mental break because as moms typically do, you take care of everybody else first before yourself. You go to work for a boss all day, then you have to come home, take care of the kids, take care of the cooking, take care of the cleaning, try to be a good wife, go to bed, do it all over again. So I could see the distraction and the stress level there. But if more women stay at home, that wouldn't be such an issue. This is just so like how do you have such little care and concern for your kids? I don't. mm.
Gonna like reading. iPads are a lot more intrinsically interesting to the brain. The dopamine is lighting up.
Yeah.
It's exciting. Reading takes work.
It's so interesting,
Mhm.
and we've spent so much time talking about how that engagement with an iPhone or an iPad kind of scatters the brain and causes anxiety and things like that. But what we don't spend enough time talking about is the importance of sort of the other end of the spectrum, which is the devotion of the mind to a book or to something you're reading and learning to read, and how that actually calms the mind and focuses the mind.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of research out there about even, at the very littlest age, when we respond to our babies make a noise and we respond. That's called serve and return. That is how they develop language. And,
Yes.
it's interesting because going back to LAUSD, their argument for bringing technology into the classroom was this is going to level the field from a socioeconomic perspective because children that are in underserved communities need to be tech literate. Well, actually, the research shows it has very little to do with your means in terms of the quality of the language development in your home. It has to do with how much you interact and talk to and read to your child.
Yes.
And now we're
Yes,
looking.
exactly. I've heard that over the years when it comes to taking care of underprivileged youth, underserved communities, poor communities. I can remember just watching the Little Cook campaigns or hearing things throughout my school of like, those kids need to have computers donated and those kids need to be on the iPads and they basically need to like keep up with the times, right? And whether we're talking about that or we're talking about toys for your kids at home or whatever it is, generally speaking, 9 times out of 10, what kids need to learn and develop and grow into healthy, stable, intelligent adults are the tried and true basics. That's at least what I've learned. It's a tried and true basics. It's the serve and return, like she's saying. It's that human connection, that human interaction. It's the letting your kids be bored and all they have to play with is a cardboard box and a whisk or something. It's not. It's like we have this anxiety about making sure they keep up with the latest and greatest technology or else they're going to be stupid or dumb. And it's like, no, the technology is what makes us stupid because it's gotten way out of hand. It does too much for us. And I love that he was bringing up the joy of reading because I mean, I myself, I used to loved to read, and I loved to write. Do you think I make time to read anymore? Absolutely not. You know, I don't pick up a book. And if you're gonna make your kid an iPad kid, at least put the put the Kindle app on there, make them read a book that way. Give them an assignment. They have to read X many chapters per week and give you a written 3 paragraph summary on what happened. Something. And it's true. It's an activity that focuses the mind. It calms you. It um, takes away distractions. It helps you visualize. It helps you learn new words. It's so important. And I'm. How are we not ashamed of ourselves? This is
Looking
terrible.
at, the New York Times this fall came out with an article. 1/3 of our high school seniors are not ready for college. They do not have a basic.
I have to say this really quickly too. Children inherently love to learn. They love to learn. They love to learn. So it's not their fault that they're not being taught how to brush their teeth or do this or that. They love to learn. So teach them. They want to learn everything. She said the New York Times, and immediately I thought about a moment when I was probably six years old, 5 or 6, and my grandfather just handed me the newspaper and just asked me to just read out loud. Yeah, it was boring stuff to me. I didn't necessarily understand everything, but I was reading. I loved it because I was reading words that I hadn't heard before, and I was reading. This is bad.
Reading level.
Wow.
Yeah,
1/3 of our high school seniors.
it's fascinating. These tech oligarchs
1/3.
convinced all of the schools and the government
1/3.
to put these devices into the school, these iPads.
I'm sorry I keep pausing, but I don't think people realize how bad it is. 1/3 of high schoolers. 1/3.
pads, and then they send their own kids to Waldorf schools with like wooden toys. It's fascinating
Mhm.
to me, and also the
True.
fact that a lot of moms aren't reading
Crazy.
to their children. So
Indeed.
that's a big deal. Thank you, Brooke. It's a very important topic.
Thank you, Brooke.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube.
Wow. Well, I think I said enough, honestly, throughout that clip. That my opinion on where we're at with this. But I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Do you think this is an issue, or do you think we don't need to focus on it because AI is going to take over, and we should just make sure our children are technologically advanced? Have you seen this as an issue in your own house, in your kids' school, or with family members? Tell me below. I really think this is a huge issue. I'm going to do more videos on this, sharing some more of the research as to what's going on. So I'd love to hear from you if you have any sort of experience with this, or if you even think it's an important issue at all. Let me know. Again, give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Don't forget to hit subscribe on your way out, and I will see you next time.